everybody. I'm Juliegrace Brufke. Welcome to my first podcast. We're here in the Poconos with former Congressman George Santos. Thanks for hosting us.
Oh my God, great to have you in my hideaway. Not a hideaway office, but a definitely hideaway from New York City.
Definitely, I feel like a different vibe than anytime we've hung out in New York.
Definitely, it's just not nature. I mean, like if you go out there, it's like all you see is woods and deer, and you can't argue with deer, but you can feed them. No, I don't feed them. Just saying. I don't want to get a citation from the town. I do not feed the deer. But no, this is like my hideaway. Like it's where I come to unplug from everything. And it's so great to have you here and do this with you. And I can't wait to see what shenanigans you're going to get me into. Because you are going to get me in trouble. I just feel it.
I'll try not to, but I can't promise anything.
Oh, sure. She can't promise anything.
Well, let's spill some tea. All right, so let's start back at the beginning. You ran twice for Congress. Did you ever think you were going to run or like going to win while you were running?
The first time, yes. And the second time, I already knew. So the first time I ran, I am an audacious person. And I think everything I do is the best way it's ever been done. And I know that's a very cocky take on that, but I don't half-ass anything. And I thought I was going to win. And part of me, tinfoil hat moment, part of me thinks I won 2020 because election night, I was super ahead. And then Cuomo changed election law after the election and said, we're going to extend 3 more days and more absentee ballots are going to come in. Well, I got shellacked 60,000 votes. So I said, I'm going to do this again. And mid of me saying I was doing it again, Tom Suozzi gave me the biggest gift a human being can give you. He decided not to run for re-election. I said, it's in the bag. I'm like the incumbent already. Like, because I had the name recognition and I never stopped being a candidate from 2019 all the way until 2022. So I kept active, and there is a powerful essence to name ID in politics. And I just never went away. I just never gave up. So it was around July, I want to say, of 2022, before the primary. I was already polling 16 points ahead, and that was matched up to every single Democrat in the primary. So once they decided who their winner was, the Democrats in their infinite wisdom picked a man twice my age, literally. I was 34, he was 68. The only thing in common we both had is that we were both gay, and that was a historic thing. But everything else, we were so starkly opposite, and the environment was so anti what he was promoting and so more friendly towards me that I didn't really have to campaign much. After they selected him, I stopped campaigning. That's a true fact. I mean, I showed up to places, but I didn't need to campaign anymore because polling suggested every 2 weeks we were polling, my numbers would either go up by like a point or maybe down half a point, but they stayed at that like 16, 16 and a half, 15 and a half range and across 4 pollsters. So you're like, there's no way I lose this unless there's 4 pollsters who are absolutely batshit retarded. So I won.
Okay, so you win. That New York Times story drops.
Hold on, no, I went. I had a honeymoon. I had 6 weeks.
You had a lot in there. Okay, so when that New York Times story. Okay, first off, were you surprised that any of the stuff that came out in that didn't come out sooner since he ran twice?
Yes, but a lot of it was from the second campaign. So if you go back to the crux of it, is the first time around they just threw me out as a sacrificial lamb, right? They didn't care because they said nobody's beating Suozzi in that district, right? Look. Hate him or love him, I am the first one to say he is a formidable opponent. Very tough person to run against. So for me, it was a matter of like, I am going up against political juggernaut, powerhouse, political dynasty. And I kind of just like went scrappy with it. And the reason I got the endorsement the first time around is I had so many people that I cashed in some favors support me, and their chairman just said, whatever, let's just give it to this kid. He's not going to win anyway. He's not going to bother us. He's not going to ask us for anything. Because I said, I will not ask you guys for any help. I got this. And that was appealing to them, right? And then the pandemic hit and everything. So, and then the second time around, in order to convince them, that's when the embellishing started, and just it kind of got out of control. Don't do it, folks. It's not worth it. Like, there's no such thing as a fucking white lie. It always comes back to smack you in the face.
So if you're going to go give advice to yourself in 2020, what would you have done differently?
Run on who I am, because it is far more interesting than the facade that I was forced to create in order to even break the bubble of the establishment. It was stupid. It's so the wounds are so self-inflicted, it hurts. Like, I had held really good jobs. All my employers always knew I had a GED education, and I'm so comfortable in saying that, because it shows you that education is important, but it doesn't define you. So why make all this stuff up when everybody loves a rags to riches story anyway, right? So it's like kind of dumb. Like, just don't do it.
All right, so let's get into some of the saucier tea. You get to Congress. Okay, favorite and least favorite member, and why?
Favorite is going to be like a tie, probably, like Tim Burchett, Guy Reschenthaler. I already knew Gates, but I don't want to say he's a favorite, because I guess I know Gates out of me being there, and I met these guys mainly being there. So least favorite, oh God. Do I have only to pick one? There's like 105 Republicans. I'd see a bus coming and I'd say, no, you're perfect, just fine, right there. Don't even turn around. I let the bus plow them. So, I mean, like, my least favorite turned out to be the person that I thought was a friend, which was Anthony D'Esposito. This is a person that I helped so much. Like, I would give donors for him, and he turned on me like this, flip of a dime. So,
Have you talked to him since the expulsion?
I spoke to him. The last I spoke to him was the day of expulsion. We exchanged texts, and I said, hey, I understand you're doing what you have to do because of politics. I just wish it wasn't so personal. He's like, and then his answer to me was like, George, I'm sorry. I really wish it wasn't this way, but you know, it is what it is, right? I said, I guess. That was the last time I ever spoke to him. And then I made sure to have fun with letting everyone know that while he was there trying to expel me, he had a mistress on payroll. He had his fiance's daughter on payroll. They both weren't even showing up to work. They were ghost jobs. I'm like, I'm just so ethical. It's like everything is so above board. And now he's Inspector General nominee. Like, because that's exactly who Lori Chavez thinks is going to be a great labor labor Inspector General.
Okay, do you kind of resent any of your friends that are in Trump world for not pushing back on something that's nominees more? With Trump?
I don't know where I would push back on Trump's agenda right now, because I kind of support the Agenda 47. I am kind of shocked at the whole Epstein thing and how nobody's pushing back. That's kind of...
All right, let's get into the Epstein stuff. Let's get your hot take. I want your hot take on the Epstein. What's going on there?
Epstein was a piece of shit. And I'm sorry if I'm not sure how much I can swear, but...
I'm fine with it.
Okay, there you go. So Epstein's was a bad dude. Ghislaine Maxwell is an even worse human being, because she solicited young women for Epstein and his cronies. So I'm just shocked that after years of being told that this cabal would finally be exposed, all of a sudden, there is no cabal. No, it's all a big misunderstanding. I just think, you know, and I trust President Trump. I think he's you know, he benefits nothing from hiding this. And I equate it this way. A lot of people say, like, he's on the list. Do you really think if he was on the list, Merrick Garland wouldn't have put it out there? I mean, they try to throw this man in prison. If there was a there, trust me, if there was anyone who would have put it out there, it would have been Merrick Garland. But on the flip side, I do believe accountability needs to be delivered. There are bad people out there that engage in this behavior that are kind of getting away with it. So I'm kind of mad. You
think Congress should be doing more about it?
There's people in Congress who groom young girls and marry them. I mean, dude, there's a full-fledged member of Congress who gave scholarships to the kid and then married her when she was a junior or a freshman in college.
All right, who's your weirdest congressional colleague, like low-key, strange person you met up there?
Strange.
I know there's different categories of that. That's probably like a hard.
I mean, there's a lot of strange people.
All right, top
5. Marinette Miller makes kind of like up there. She's very strange. Everything about her is strange. She's an introvert. She's a know-it-all, but she also has zero interpersonal skills. Doesn't know how to communicate. Very odd body language. Former member, no longer a member, but Kathy McMorris Rogers gave me a Bible and said, "Pray on it, George." I'm still wondering what that meant. I mean, thank you. Thank you so much. But that was just a wrong approach. It's like, Jesus will save you from your sins kind of approach. I'm like, great way to start a conversation, I guess. I mean, she's a nice lady, but that was a very strange thing to do. The setting of it, not that I rebuke the Bible. I appreciate the thought and the intention. I just thought that the way she went about it was, I was standing on the house floor. She's like, "George, come here." Goes into her thing. She's like, "How do I spell your last name again?" I'm like, Santos. She signs it, autographs me a Bible.
Do you still have it?
I do. It's somewhere there. And then she gives it to me. I'm like, "Thank you." She's like, "Pray on it. Jesus will release you from all your sins." I'm like, "Amen." And I walked away. Why did she autograph a Bible? I was just so caught off guard. But nice lady, but strange. David Kostoff, very strange man. But then again, the entire Tennessee delegation is very strange, with the exception of Burchett, right? I like Oglesby, but I mean, it's strange group of individuals. He eats once a day, and the dude's super skinny. He doesn't speak. He's very weird.
One meal a day is more self-control than I have. All right, so that's 3. 2 more.
2 more. Oh my God. Another former. Katie Porter. What an oddball. So I had her office. I took her old office when I became a member. And there was a little souvenir left behind. So in the ledge pit, the room where my ledge staff would be.
Is that where the Menage Act was written?
Yes. Oh, Raffaello, such a good brain. So we moved in, whatever. And then one day I walk in there and then I close the door to talk to them. And behind the door, there's this whole chart with a bullseye. And it says, "Hit hard in the center if stressed." And I said, "Why do you guys have that up?" They're like, this is the first time that door's been closed. I think that's from Katie Porter's office. So I lift the thing, and I'm not saying it's broken, but there's indentations on the door. So I'm sure that there's a lot of people who work for her who had cranial fractures or probably had a mild concussion, self-inflicted, by the way. So can you imagine how bad you have to be that your staff is banging their head against the door? She was just very odd. The expulsion resolution came down. The second one came down on the floor. She voted it down and then approached me on the house floor, goes like, "You screwed me in my race. You put me in a bad place." I'm like, "What did I do?" She's like, "Just enough of the shenanigans. Now I'm getting heat because I voted to protect you." I'm like, "You voted to protect me or did you vote for due process?" She's like, "You know what I mean." I'm like, "Okay, Katie." And it was very weird exchange. Yeesh.
So who shocked you the most that you thought would have voted to save you that didn't?
Lisa McClain. She lied to my face. "Oh, this is such nonsense, honey. These people gotta let go," and then proceeds to vote to expel me. I was just so confused. So I'll never talk to that bitch again, ever.
Okay, so you get there, you're a gay Republican. I feel like
Nobody cared.
Nobody cared.
Nobody cared.
So
I mean, maybe I don't know, Bob Good, maybe.
So, with the expulsion efforts, you think it was more of a personal thing than facing any type of homophobia getting there?
I think there was definitely a mild homophobia about it. I'm not going to be coy and cover. I'm not holding water for anybody. There's definitely a homophobia effect of it, but I don't think it was the main reason. They just didn't want to deal with it. I was a nuisance in their mind, and they had been convinced by Joe Cairo, the local GOP chairman in Nassau County, that polling shows that we're gonna wipe Swazi. Well, I don't know, maybe wipe your tears after Swazi shellacks you, but I guess they lied to them. They bought it. Polling suggests we'll keep the seat. Nobody's George Santos in NY3, and nobody will ever hold that seat again because they don't have a single person who has the balls to go out there and actually be a person who represents and speaks the issues of the district, because I'm from the district.
Okay, so a topic we talk about off camera a lot. Okay, let's chat Congress fashion. And Who's best? Who's worst? If you could give a makeover to one member of Congress?
Just one?
All right, we could do more than one.
Well, okay, so how about this? Most of the men need to stop wearing overly large suits. Like, you don't see a tailoring in sight with very few exceptions. I mean, very few exceptions. But someone I'd give a fashion makeover to, and I love him, is Tim Burchett. You gotta let the Carhartt jacket go. At least get a new one, Tim. Come on, you can do it.
Have you vocalized this to him yet?
Huh?
Have you vocalized this hot take to him yet?
I've told him that he needs a new coat before. I've said, Tim, this coat's seen a lot. It's been to worn back. He's like, you're just jealous you don't have one. He's so sweet. But no, I think his fashion is okay, but I'll always pick at the Carhartt jacket. No, some tacky people, Nicole Malliotakis, holy crap. She cannot dress for shit, and she's Greek, or whatever day of the week. She's Greek, she's Cuban. It depends on whichever side of her mouth she's going to try to talk and you know.
This is coming from the man that's Jewish.
Ish. Ish. At least I keep the fashion. So she's so tacky. She has no sense. She's schlubby looking. Her clothes are ill-fitting. She looks like she hasn't showered in weeks at all times. Her hair's greasy. And then she gets these weird Bob Burgers haircuts. Like, it's just bad. Like, zero sense of fashion. Zero. I don't even think you can give her a makeover. Like, I think it's impossible. It's not hard.
You know I like all these people.
It's okay. You like them, but you're asking me for my opinion. You want me to lie to you? I could. We could sit here and lie. She's just schlubby. It's like, and I don't care for her, and that's why I call her Nicole Malia Stock Tips. She hasn't seen a good briefing she didn't go and trade on afterwards. So.
All right, so we talked shortly before the cameras turned on. You talked on Tucker about it a little bit. You said there's more tea on cages.
So if you didn't watch the Tucker Carlson show, this is the interview. You're probably wondering, right? What are you talking about? But the cages are a real issue. So House Admin Chair Brian Stile completely ignored my approach when I told him about this issue. It's all unfounded rumors. And then we had the Senate swing scandal. I'm like, are they unfounded? I mean, people are literally having sex in the cages, which is the storage units in the basement of all the House office buildings. And members of Congress seem to be okay with it. They don't care because there's a sex culture in D.C. and it's perverted. And I think there's more to it because, you know, there's enough rumors out there to substantiate. At this point, if there's enough rumors out there, I think there's a lot of truth to it. But there's enough rumors out there to substantiate that members have engaged in that behavior in the cages.
Do you want to name names?
No, because I don't want to get civilly sued. I don't. I have to take insurance out before I say shit like that.
Okay, so you got punched in the face for a member of Congress a while ago, and this member confirmed it for me. I feel like viewers should hear the story.
2021, I want to say it's like around March, April. I had just, recently come back from orientation and losing my election in 2020. And I'm in Manhattan for Liberty Club event, who was chaired by Andrea Katsoutidis, the Manhattan GOP chairwoman, who at that point was a really close friend, and I adore Andrea. She's a good person, but she dropped me, and that's fine, whatever. Nicole Malliotakis, Andrew Garbarino, and Congresswoman Kat Cameo from Florida are all guests. We're mingling, we're talking. This retired administrative adjudicator, not even a judge, but he calls himself a judge, but he's like a administrator, an adjudicator, like in a local county court in Nassau County. Frank Shalais he's known as a perv, by the way, and a bad drunk. Now, this is a 60-something-year-old with a little greasy ponytail behind his hair, and then when he goes to events like this, he hides it in his suit jacket so people don't see he wears a ponytail, which I thought was really weird. So I'm sitting, like, we're standing there talking. All of a sudden, he comes up to Kat Cameo and licks her from, like, chin to forehead. Literally, like, you're delicious. He literally licked her face and groped her. I pushed him. I'm like, what is the matter with you? You're insane. He goes and swings at me, punches me in the face. I'm punched by some heart. My glasses flew across the room. I'm like looking for my glasses, like Velma. My glasses! I can't see without my glasses. It's in Nicole Maliatakis' foot. She's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Dude, what kind of question is that?" I mean, I got shellacked in the face for defending her. Like, I couldn't believe it. I genuinely was like, I think I was 34 years old at the time. I'm like, this is the first time I've been punched in the face. It sucks. It really sucks. And I got punched in the face because of Kat Kamek. Yeah, Kat Kamek, you owe me a punch in the face.
I know she appreciates it.
She always tells a story. Whenever I'm in a room with her, she tells a story. And people just go like, you're kidding. She's like, nope, true story. He didn't make that one up. She always says it. So,
at what point did you get to where like all of a sudden you were getting recognized on the streets after all of the initial information?
I got recognized in the streets before I even made it on January 3rd into the House. Like, that's how bad it got really fast. It was very, very scary. A lot of people have lied about me being an attention whore or me seeking fame. None of that is true. Because if that were true, I would have been a theater kid. I would have been pursuing some kind of career in that. And in the meantime, I was pursuing a private equity career. That doesn't scream he wants to be famous if he's in private equity, where, guess what? Private actually means private, right? So it's so contradictory to what people believe. I was not pursuing fame. I decided to run for office because I was just pissed off. And I saw AOC as a bartender could do it. I said, oh, I guess you don't need to be a Clinton, a Bush. You could be a Santos.
I mean, what's it like to be like thrust into that though? It's got to be weird all of a sudden. Like, I can't imagine there's anything you need to like prepare for that.
Adjustments. It's been what, 3 years now, and I'm still adjusting in different ways, right? But 2022 into 2023 was definitely an adjustment. I mean,
what's been your weirdest interaction with somebody? Your staff was telling me there was like a whole kerfuffle at a Chick-fil-A when you first got up there.
Do you know the Chick-fil-A on H Street in D.C? Notoriously, I bought Chick-fil-A for the press because they kept sitting outside my office, and eventually I'm like, you know what, I'm going to feed these people. Maybe they'll appreciate me a little bit more. Guess what? They did.
I know, I never went over for the free food.
They devoured it. You never got a sandwich? It was like, I think.
I did like the NRCC thing, and they
Yeah.
over like a mutual love of Botox.
Yeah, that's funny. How we met was hilarious, but we should talk about that. But so I think it was 30 sandwiches. I could be off there, 20, 30. I think it was 30 in total, but I gave some to my staff, right? And I think I left 20 out there in the bag with all the condiments and stuff. And Vishbura and I pull up to Chick-fil-A through the drive-through and then park. And there's like kind of these, you know, those like, I want to venture to say Haitian, but maybe, you know, those ethnic Black immigrants that hang out around that area of DC. He goes and pulls into the wait area because the order's too large. So they say, pull up into spot 1. We're sitting there. All of a sudden, this Black dude just comes up to the window, knocks, and is telling me to lower the window. And I'm like on the phone, and I go like this to him, like I'm on the phone. So Vish goes outside, and Vish goes around the car and is talking to him. And all I hear is that, is that the lying congressman? I'm like, oh, that's bad. I'm like, this is bad. And Vish is like, no. He's like, you are a liar. You are lying for him. It was so bad. Dude, a crowd formed. All these similar type guys. And I'm in it's H Street, the other side of the other side of town where you don't want to get caught in that situation.
My dry cleaner's up there. I sometimes venture over to.
You know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm like, it became hostile so fast. I'm like, this is actually now dangerous. Like, this is January 12th, 6 days in. Not good at all. So that's the speed in which it was becoming volatile. And shortly after that, in the topic of notoriety and fame and all of that, starts the death threats and Capitol Police having to do almost daily assessments for us, joint with the NYPD. And then came this end of January call, I think it was January 30th, we get the death threat, the legit death threat from a guy down in Boynton Beach, Florida, with the legitimate rap sheet. Like, this is now, I'm going to bash your MF skull and your husband's going to watch it as I proceed to do his. And like, the transcript's out there somewhere, you can read it. It was awful. And that day, I remember when Charlie, my first chief of staff, went and reported to Capitol Police, we were all nervous. But NYPD the next day gets a bomb threat. My office is now barricaded, and protesters are thinking it's for them, not understanding what's going on. Look, he's barricading his office against it. It became such a, because you have people like Josh Lafazan, this wannabe loser from Nassau, who is trying to like capitalize on building his name ID on top of my back, which it never happened because he's as fake as his chin is. And there's a famous tweet about it when he says, I never lie to people. I'm as real as it gets. I'm like your chin? Because he had no chin and then all of a sudden got plastic surgery, has this beautiful jawline. I'm like, yeah, let's talk about fake here. You can talk about my filler, but we can talk about your jaw implant. Right?
Okay, like what work have you had done?
A lot. I a lot. I mean, I've done A to Z. I have a jaw. I have jaw fillers. I have an actual fake chin implant for elongation purposes. I have in my face, I think at this point it's like 30% filler. The migration is a real bitch. So you gotta compensate all the time. And Botox is if I were to put a price tag or even a unit amount of how much Botox I've had, that's...
Wait, how many units do you get all in time? I only get like 20 units.
Yeah.
Well, you got me going on the Daxify too.
You look great, by the way. Yeah, Daxify is, it's peptides, darling. Peptides are great for your skin. So I'm not going to say who does my Botox so I don't get in trouble, but I have surpassed 200 units per session. That's how much I need. That's how much Botox it requires for me.
I feel like, really?
Yeah. I'm a guy. I have stronger muscles than girls. B, I've been doing it since I'm 25. I'm 30. I'm about to be 37. So it creates resistance and tolerance. So yeah, it's more. Every time it's more. So it's like about 200 units a session. Because I like the frozen face too. I have no Botox on now. Like I'm like a year. I mean, what's the point? What am I going to freeze my face for? Fucking inmates?
Okay, I was going to, okay, so like, are you worried about like the filler and like...
Yeah, I'm going to come out like, dude, there's a reason Chris Lee only showed up the next day with a couple of bruises on his face because he got freshened up. Like, Todd Chrisley's like, you don't know me. He left prison, went straight to his esthetician, then to Nordstrom shopping so he can do that press conference the very next day. So
I too love shopping at Nordstrom. Okay, Georgia, I have horrible gaydar, and you were married to a woman at some point, and I'm like, how were you married to a woman? Because even I immediately...
And by the way, that wasn't a secret. Nope. People try to portray it as a secret in the DC press, although it was something I spoke about in the campaign trail, right? I was married to my first wife. Like most gay men, we go through a cycle and a phase of approval for our family. Generally loved her. She was a great woman. We're friends today. I hurt her, and I was a piece of shit for doing that. But it's not the salacious story, but I can say one thing. She was always well-dressed because of me. I picked a lot of her outfits. I picked a lot of her outfits. She should have seen that as a sign, but she didn't. So I think I was more interested in her wardrobe than she was in her own wardrobe, to be fair.
I mean, like, did she know about, okay, so you did Katara at one point in time.
I never did Katara. So Katara happened one time. Like, when people say he's a career drag queen, I'm like, the poorest freaking drag queen ever alive. One outfit, one time, one moment.
Did you do it again?
I totally did it for Cameo. Raised money for Tunnels to Towers and for the fellowship, the International Fellowship of Jews and Christians. I thought it was great. People literally bought cameos from me in drag to mock me while I was forcing them to support two organizations they'd never give a licking dime to. And I thought they were mocking me while I was getting the last laugh. Like, thanks for giving money to two very conservative organizations.
Okay, so like, how much money do you make off Cameo?
In totality,
Totality.
like right now, I think I finally hit the $400,000 net, meaning in my pocket throughout this entire time.
Just like most of that go to like lawyers and restitution.
It all went to lawyers at this point. Every last dime went to lawyers. People think I'm living high on the hog, darling. Ain't no hog and it ain't high. That's all I can tell you. It ain't high at all. Like Diana Ross, as she said, ain't no mountain high enough. I mean, ain't no valley low enough for me at this point.
Okay, so like, let's get into the ethics report. And like, I know you push back on a lot of it. What in there would you say is real and what?
Did you ever read it?
I went through it, yeah.
The whole thing?
I mean, a large chunk of it a while ago.
Yeah.
A little rusty on it.
Okay, now we'll talk about it. So a few things in the ethics reports. I'm going to start with the easy ones. They say that I had a lot of credit cards with high interest rates. It was Joe Biden's economy. It sucked. Interest rates were up everywhere. And as if that's like a bad thing. Like, do you know how many Americans live juggling credit cards? So I had trailer park economics. Who cares? That's not a crime. It's not a crime, right? But they use that to besmear me, to make me sound inferior to them because, you know, they're all lords with pointy white hats on a, you know, pedestal somewhere in the ethics committee, especially Michael Guest. Oh my God, perfect. No other more perfect human being has ever existed, right? So, and then they went down this rabbit hole of believing salacious lies of a person called Derek Meyer. Oh, he sexually assaulted me. When? On this day at this time. My staff is like, that's not true. Here's he at an event at this day and this time. Oh no, then I got my dates mixed up. It was this day, this time. Well, here's he again elsewhere. Like, I kept a very public calendar and it was pretty impossible to miss me. And then he said that I groped his groin and invited him to karaoke. Now, the funny thing is he said that because I had already gone to karaoke where you distinctively remember.
I do remember that. Hill Country. You didn't perform though.
That already happened. So he used it as as if it was a normal thing for me, but everybody knows I was there once and left. Never even went on stage to sing I Will Survive.
So what in there, okay, like what in the ethics report and in the legal stuff are you most sorry for?
I mean, in the ethics report, I'm sorry for nothing because it's all bullshit.
Okay, wait. In the ethics report, there was something that jumped out at me they said there was money spent on OnlyFans.
That's not true. It was categorically false. A card from my campaign, I didn't have one. You can look at the legal stuff. I did not have a card. Somebody in my campaign did spend, I think it was $24.98 or 99 cents, right? And I don't know who. Actually, that's not true. Now I know who. Then I didn't know. Now I know who. And they know that. They know that to be fact. I mean, the DOJ had my phone. Do you really think if I had spent money on OnlyFans, it wouldn't be in my DOJ docket? Let's be honest, right? They've thrown everything.
I'm not totally sure how the whole DOJ, yeah. But
they've thrown everything at me. Why not throw that in there? That was just salacious nonsense. Like I don't subscribe to. I'm not a promiscuous person. I'm quite like boring for a gay guy. I'm not. You've interacted with me. I don't have this proclivity towards promiscuity. It's just not me. I'm pretty square when it comes to that stuff. Like, I don't like talking about sex. I'm just kind of weird about it. And that's part because of the environment I grew up in. My parents were very prude, so it's just not, I don't know. It wasn't me. I mean, and if I had used OnlyFans, I would have no problem saying like, yeah, I'm 30-something years old. I checked out OnlyFans.
Didn't you launch one afterwards?
I did launch one as like a fuck you to them. Like, oh, now I am on OnlyFans. Like, F you. What are you going to do about it?
So, like, what portrayal or headline were you kind of like most shocked by in all of this? I mean, like, you've had SNL, you've had all sorts of Jimmy Kimmel, you've had. You had like a whole legal thing with Jimmy Kimmel.
I'm suing Jimmy Kimmel. I'm in an appeal right now against Jimmy Kimmel for fraud because he's a fraudster who broke licensing agreement, broke copyright laws, and I hope that the Court of Appeals actually sees this in the Second Circuit and slammed him because it's a grave injustice for creators who are creating material online to have these big corporation-backed clowns like Jimmy Kimmel come and steal your content and dupe you and violate your licensing agreements, violate your copyrights in order for them to make millions with their, failing ratings. So I really hope that justice is served in that regard, because it's not about me. It's about setting precedent for every creator, every person in the industry should feel like this is a major violation of their livelihoods, right? Because that's what Kimmel did. It wasn't transformative. It was parody from the beginning. He tries to claim a transformative use of it. There is no transformative use of it. So, like, I genuinely made the mockery of it, because, like, okay, like, you're telling me a blind person got a driver's license and crashed and broke every inch in her bone. I'll go with the joke. You want to be funny? Let me be funny with you. But I wasn't serious and candid about that. I was being sarcastic. So there's no transformative play here for him. And it's not fair use when it's the essential, you asking Picasso and commissioning Picasso to draw something ridiculous to only then buy it from him and then mock it. You forced him to doing that. You ordered it. So that's Jimmy. He's a fraud. He's a failed fraud, and everybody in television knows that he has no talent. His writers are starting to run out of things to write for him because he's not funny. But to answer your question on the what I'm more remorseful of, I'm remorseful in general of putting myself in this predicament and hurting people who were my friends and putting them in a tough spot, right?
If you were to go back in time, would you run for Congress again and redo all of this, given what it's kind of led to with the 7 years?
Back in time, I would do it again, but I would change it. I would do it really differently. I would have never hired Nancy Marks. Which was my treasurer. I would have never associated with a lot of people that I did that were just bad people. And all people who had run-ins with the FBI in the past, and nobody had the balls to tell me that. As I'm hiring these people, nobody came up like, George, you might not want to hire them. This person's had run-ins with the feds. That person's had run-in with the feds. I hired every freaking person that's had issues with law enforcement, not knowing.
How many of your colleagues ask you to step down after that report dropped?
Every single one of them that voted to expel me told me I should step down. And I said, the ethics committee concluded in their own thing that they cannot make a recommendation because this is an inconclusive report. It's only preliminary. But Michael Guest decided to go against the will of his entire committee. That's why you had 2 members of the Republicans from ethics, along with 2 members of the Democrats from ethics, vote against it. Think about it. 4 members out of a panel of 10 voted against expelling, either present or no, right? That tells you something. It wasn't unanimous.
I mean, when you got there that day, I feel like you've touched on it a little bit, but like, did you think you were going to get expelled that day?
Yes, I knew it. That's why I had emptied my office out. A lot of people kept asking, like, when are you going to go empty your office? Like, what are you going to do with your stuff? I emptied it out Thanksgiving weekend. I stayed in D.C. for that reason.
So what was your most chaotic moment in the entire time you were in Congress? Like,
the baby.
The baby was...
The baby. The baby scene was insane. Like, I mean, come on. And there's a baby added to the mix. And then somebody's like, is that your baby? I said, not yet. Not as in that baby. I'm like, I'm not there yet. I don't have kids, And then they're like, oh my God, George Santos is planning to kidnapping this baby. Who is this mysterious baby? I'm like, no, that's not what I meant. But you get it, like, not yet as in, no, I'm not there yet, like, parenting-wise.
Okay, let's chat Ozempic. So I know you've been a fan of it for a while. You told me earlier you're off of it.
I've been off of it for, like, since I left. I got on Ozempic in 2022, January. And I'm sure I have a picture somewhere, and I'll give it to you, and you can use it here later. I was 352 pounds. It was very fat. I was wearing a size 54 jacket. Not because of shoulder, because it would be loose on the shoulder. It was just girthy. It was like, there was a circumference to me. It was just so bad. Coming out of the pandemic, I drank myself through the pandemic. It was really bad. It was really toxic. I was cooped up in a New York City apartment. That's unhealthy, right? And then I decided I was a baker too, so that doesn't help. Cakes and cupcakes and breads, like, this was insane. So as I'm, like, doing this, it's just totally like a shit show of fat. I go to Peter Thiel's house for an event for was it Blake Masters out in Arizona. running for Senate. So I'm in the Venetian Island in Peter Thiel's house, where he has two houses next to each other. One of them is actually a former house used for the MTV Real World. So I thought that was pretty cool because I watched that season. So I'm in Peter Thiel's house. Yeah, it's like insane. I'm in Peter Thiel's house, and then this really strange man approaches me and says, "Hi, my name is such and so. I'm a doctor, and I'm going to change your life." And I'm like, "Okay, creepy." Like, and I walked away. And then he came back. He's like, "No, seriously, I need your information because I'm going to change your life." I'm like, "All right, like this dude's probably a mega donor. He's sitting, he wants to change my life. All right, daddy, let's see what you got." So I give him my card. He gives me his cell phone. I get a call the next day. He's like, "Okay, I'm going to send you some information I need from you." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." I'm thinking, I'm lining up like my WinRed link. I'm like, okay, he just wants like donation stuff. And out of nowhere, it's a blood panel. I'm like, wait, why do you want my blood? I was just so like, what the fuck is going on? So he goes like, "I'm going to make you lose weight. You're going to look great. You'll be healthy in 6 months." He wasn't kidding. So I send him, I go get the blood work. I send it to him. I go through the process of.
But you weren't just like weirded out by somebody being like.
I
"Yeah,
was,
let me
but I'm
send you
also
the-"
weird and like I don't care. Like the ADD kicks in and I'm just like, yeah, whatever. It's just blood, you know. So I send him my blood panel, and then I get a box in my house. I want to say a week later of samples, and it's all Ozempic pens. This is when Ozempic was so easy to get samples for. So you understand, the first 4 months of me taking Ozempic, I didn't buy a pen. I was getting it for free. Like he was sending me samples. So
Wait, is that like allowed when you're a congressman?
I wasn't a congressman.
Oh.
I was a candidate. Hi, and he was my doctor. Ha. Fuck you, trying to get me in trouble. Go to hell.
Sorry.
What are you trying to do here?
Sorry.
Come, it's going to be fun on my podcast as she tries to literally create a trap for me. I was a candidate.
Me too.
He was my doctor. HIPAA, bitch. So, he starts sending me all these samples, and I'm just like, am I really just going to start pricking myself with diabetes drugs? And then Matt, my husband, looks at me. He's like, I mean, it can't kill you. I mean, he's like, but you're not even diabetic. He's looking at this like, but you're not diabetic. Why? I'm like, he says I'm going to lose weight taking. He's like, all right, then do it. I do the prick, the first one. Dude, I didn't eat for 96 hours. Like, I felt like there was like a knot in my throat. I was nauseous out of my mind. I'm like, I'm never doing this again. What a stupid thing that I just did. I didn't eat for 96 hours. And then after like the 74, like the 72-hour mark, this euphoria took over my body. And then he's like, that's the ketosis. It kicked in. And this doctor is just so weird the way he does things. And I'm just like, okay. And then he's like, I just send you a script for Giardians. Go get it because it's another diabetes drug and you're going to pee fat. I'm like, okay, great. So I start taking.
So much about this process I didn't know about.
So I start taking Giardians too and peeing fat. I'm like, ow, this hurt. Kind of hurts, by the way, because it's melting fat out of your body and you're peeing it. I'm like, I think this man's going to kill me. So the second week comes around, I'm kind of leery, but then I go on the scale and I'm down 5 pounds. I'm like, let's go. Eyeball if I have to. Dude, I went from 352 pounds in January of 2022, election day. I was 246 pounds. That was the, and people say,
it's got to be hard to have a wardrobe that spans that.
well, you
I feel like
look
they're
at
the wrong way for guys.
Look at the campaign pictures and you'll see how chaotic it gets. But here's the thing. Doctors during my time when I spoke about this said it was a lie. It couldn't be possible, blah, blah, blah. He's making this up. And then I present facts. My weigh-in, my picture, my weigh-in, my picture. And you can see there's 100 pounds off of me. Like, it's visible. Like, I go from having like 4 chins to having a snatched jawline. It's just like, it's the truth. And I think I should be studied. I should have been studied because I haven't seen anybody have that success with Ozempic, even in the House. I know a few guys.
How many
I can't tell you names, but I can tell you.
What's the percentage of people in Congress, White House, et cetera?
When I was there, the same doctor, by the way, that did me, did another 2 members of Congress. I will say that. I won't say who, but two members of Congress. And I like them. That's why I won't say it. And then while I was there, Mark Green tried to push his compounded version of Ozempic on me. I'm like, no, thank you. I only do like big pharma version. I'm not gonna get your witchcraft compound put in my body. Like, you can go fuck yourself. But
there's
he
like
was
knockoff.
he was scripting Ozempic left and right for people in the house. He would liberally do it too, right? That was Mark Green's MO. I saw him talk about it, and he told me, he's like, I've given it to everybody. You want one? I'll give you one. My buddy has a compounding pharmacy, and you can order it from him. I'm like, I'm good, thanks. Like, no thank you, right? Because my doctor did walk away from me kind of because of all the scandal. He didn't want to get associated or caught up. But I know that at the time, he would tell me, talk about HIPAA violations, a lot of people in Republican politics were on Ozempic. And the most notable one that I guess the cat's out the bag now was Pompeo. Because Pompeo went...
He did lose a lot of weight.
Really quick. And that's when everybody said he was getting in presidential shape. I don't know about that.
Did he deny it? I feel like
If he denied...
I don't know.
To me, I thought the cat was out the bag on that. So, oopsie. Allegedly. Allegedly, Pompeo was on it. Let's cover our asses and our faces.
Okay, let's talk sentencing and the pardon. Push for the pardon. I mean, who have you been talking to advocate for that? Like, what's the process
I've
look
talked
like?
to a lot of people.
And like, are there people you thought would have been advocating for you that aren't?
There's definitely some disappointment people that I came through for them, and like, I can't get them to call me back these days. And then there are people that I've gone out on a limb for that I feel like haven't really done anything than send me like, I'm praying for you. I'm like,
how often do your former colleagues reach out to you? Like, how many
it depends. It goes in waves, right? I think they forget I exist, and then I do like a Tucker Carlson show hit, and then they all text me and call me. It's like it goes in waves, you know? But I keep up with a few of them quite regularly. There's a core group of like maybe 12 to 15 that I talk to on a regular rotation, right? Recently, I got into this, reported by WAPO, by Kadia Goba, I got into this weird situation where I'm sitting here having dinner one day, or lunch, sorry, and I get a telegram message from Rick Crawford. I'm like, what's up? You know, like, hey, Rick, what's up? And midway, I was just like, okay, I'm not going to do this texting thing. It's not for me. I picked up the phone and called, and it was like, this number's been disconnected. I'm like, try it again. I'm like, Rick, I'm trying to call you. Your phone says disconnected. What gives? He's like, oh yeah, no, download this app and this and do this. I'm like, okay, this just sounds really sus. And then eventually I kind of led the conversation on a little bit more, and then I realized it was a phishing scheme because he changed numbers, and that number ended up, you know, somebody took it and is using it. So I called Guy Russian-Dollar. I'm like, Guy, I just got like literally, there's a phishing scam going on with the head of Intel. Like, this is not good. So, I mean, I talk, a lot of these things end up happening. But I talk to them on a good basis. And as far as the pardon process, we submitted a pardon application to the pardon attorney, Ed Martin. I worked, you know, official channels and back channels. You know, like, once you're a congressman, you have back channels you can work. You work them, right? I can't get past the gatekeepers through to the president, and I've tried relentlessly, but unfortunately I hit a wall when, you know, he denies it. He denied it to me in text, but I don't believe him, unfortunately. Mike Johnson, a lot of people have said he's being, I guess, coerced by Nick LaLota, Andrew Garbarino, Mike Lawler, and Nick Langworthy, and Nicole Malliotakis, along with Max Miller, to not pardon me, or else they would vote down the agenda, right? So
you've said previously, like, there's polling and that there are people that were indicating. I mean, like,
oh, Michael Guest recently.
I mean, like, do you know what that polling is, or like?
Well, I'll tell you this: Michael Guest recently admitted to somebody in Mississippi that the reason that he had to do what he did to expel me was polling suggested it was going to wipe out all the Northeast seats if I stayed. Well, how'd that work out for Anthony D'Esposito, Mark Molinaro, and Brandon Williams?
They've always been very nice to me.
That's fine. It could be nice to you, but I'm asking, how did it work out?
So, I mean, like, do you think you had any impact on elections at all in New York?
No.
Like,
Here's a.
I mean, like, how did your, okay, when all this stuff broke, like, how did your donors react? Like, did you have angry donors?
I had angry donors. Totally had angry donors. And then I had donors who were like, fuck it. You just did Joe Biden's strategy. Why are people so mad? Like, that's literally what some donor said. I mean, if you go online, I have some donors that relentlessly badger Lawler. Like, you ruined my investment in Santos. You threw my money into garbage. You didn't even let him finish his term. Like, some donors felt that animosity towards them because, remember, I raised more money than Lota. I raised more money than D'Esposito. I raised more money than Lawler. I raised more money than Molinaro. I raised almost $4 million. None of them did close to that. They all relied on NRCC and CLF. I did not get CLF money. I got the bare minimum from NRCC while I was actually contributing dues as a candidate to the NRCC. Call Kevin McCarthy and he'll tell you I handed him two $50,000 checks in 2 different occasions from donors of mine because I wanted to help the team. I'm a team player.
So NRCC was part of the indictment, right? On accusations.
Oh, the NRCC gave a statement to the government saying that they were not a victim and that the money they spent on my campaign is the bare minimum they would have spent on any campaign based and supported by polling. Then the DOJ says, no, it was under false pretenses because he wouldn't have made Young Guns if he didn't do this, or that. And they're like, it still doesn't matter. That's just a nominal thing to get candidates to shape up into better candidates. But if the candidate is viable and the polling suggests it's viable, we would spend the money even if they didn't hit those goalposts. But the DOJ needed to create the loss amount so that they can get the statute, the guidelines to where they wanted it to be, 87 months. So I'm being forced to give money back to the NRCC to the tune of $234,000. That's how that loss amount is $500,000.
So there are a lot of preconceived notions. People kind of have a vision of what you are, of some of the personas that are out there. I mean, like, what do you want people to know that's like, they don't know? Like, what do you want the perception to be of?
I'm more blunt and more straightforward than most members of Congress. I don't mince my words. I don't beat around the bush. I will say it how it is. I don't give a flying anything about what members of Congress think of me. I genuinely don't. I think it is the worst cast of human beings on earth put under one roof and at the expense of the American people. And I've been more forthcoming and straightforward with the American people as far as everything that I've experienced than any of them have been in a lifetime of service. I'll pick one for shits and giggles. Chris Smith in New Jersey. I'm 36. He's been there for 43 years. He's on his 43rd year serving in Congress. What has he done for us? What has he done for the American people? Nothing. Nothing tangible, at least. So when I say there's no transparency, there's no honesty, if you're saying I'm the most dishonest member of Congress, then you're definitely crazy.
So, okay, some of the whys on the campaign trail. I mean, how did you kind of get there of like, I mean, volleyball, I feel like there was a Hannah Montana situation.
That's not true.
Was...
First of all,
like there was like
there's a Wikipedia page. So here's the deal. There's a Wikipedia page created by God only knows who, not me. I never really even had a login to Wikipedia until I got elected and I was trying to change my picture because they kept putting this weird webcam photo of mine that I looked disfigured. And I'm like, I don't look like that. And I kept trying to put like an actual picture of mine and they kept re-editing. That was the only thing I tried to do to edit my Wikipedia page. And I own up to it. I'm like Lawler, who will say, that wasn't me editing my Wikipedia page on a daily basis, right? So I did not create that Wikipedia page. There's a few things that were said that I still...
like the background with like the Jewish, like how did that all...
Let me get to this part because I think it's more important. I never claimed I produced Spider-Man on Broadway. Matter of fact, you can go on old posts of mine on social media. I went to watch it. I thought it was the worst production on earth. It was awful. While I was in there, the Spider-Man cable fucking literally, one of them let loose and the guy like swung and hit. Like, I never said that. Somebody thought, I'm just gonna make this up and throw it out there. And everybody ran with it without even corroborating evidence of me ever saying it. So that's number one.
I didn't even know there was a Spider-Man the musical until that.
It was awful, awful, worst production ever. It was canceled because it was a hazard. Number two was the Hannah Montana stuff. I have no clue where that came from. That was just another lunatic thing. The career drag queen, not true. The stole money from a dying veteran's dog, not true. All these things, like, The veteran thing, do you really think Tish James or the DOJ would pass up in prosecuting me if that were true? Do you really think that if that were true, they would do it? It's not true. The guy who accused me never met me, goes on Anderson Cooper's like, I never met him, but I know it's him, right? Turns out that his dog, by the time he reached out to Andrea, who used to rescue with me out of Jersey, she's the owner of the farm that was a vet tech, reach out to me. She's like, look, this dog's a little too far gone. It's a stretch, but can we try? I said, sure. So we raised, I think it was about $2,900, almost $3,000 or $3,000, whatever, for the dog. I had to like do deep digging to understand what happened here. So we do this, pay for the dog to go see a second opinion. The vet says the dog had, I think, like a 30% chance of making it. This was a dog, I think 7 or 8 years old, something along those lines, with a massively grown tumor on her side that was attached to her rib cage, which means they would require extensive surgery. The money we had raised was not enough, and the chances a dog would die would be almost, certain. In rescue, if you talk to anybody in rescue, if you have limited resources and you don't even have all the resources for this dog, and you're gonna pour a lot of money into an animal that has no chance, but you have a list of animals you can actually save with $200-300 each, with like, all this dog needs is, a decent run up through the vet, some blood work, some shots, and it can go to a home. You're gonna make the alternative. You will take the money and put it where you can get longevity and good results out of. Is it an easy call to make? Absolutely not, right? Oh, do I believe every animal has a chance? Sure. We didn't even have all the funds. So we told the guy, like, look, we're not gonna be able to help you because your dog's too far gone. Dude, her tumor was the size of a melon. Like, I killed your dog, or you let your dog get to a terminal stage because you neglected her, right? Part of being a dog owner and an owner of an animal is knowing when to let go and when to also admit, like, I can't do this. And if I truly love this animal, I'm going to give this animal or surrender this animal to someone who can help this animal. He never did any of those things. As an animal owner myself, that's the belief. So these are all people who decided to capitalize. So now he likes to show up wherever I go and says, you killed my dog Sapphire. Dude, you do not have a job to show up like at noon, high sun in a suit that's ill-fitting on you to scream at me? Like, is that the highlight of your life? Like, sad, just sad. And then he had people who served with him who started calling me saying like, Rich Osthoff is, I don't even know if that's how you pronounce his name, but I think that's the name. He's like, he's an opportunist. This is his MO. He likes to victimize himself and attack people. People who served with him in the military. So it's like, ooh, yikes. You got bigger problems there, buddy.
Which of all the falsities out there were you most surprised by? Did you find any of them entertaining?
The most outrageous one was a former friend who I took into my house from being homeless and sleeping in the streets, which also was my local Starbucks barista. His name is Greg Maury Parker. He accused me of stealing his scarf. I'm like, how fucking random. And the timeline of his lie is just so funny because he's like, he stole my scarf when I lived with him. Well, when you lived with me, you were so broke. I remember giving you my clothes. I handed down like a ton of clothes to you. Secondly, and this is the funny part, the scarf he claimed I stole was only manufactured by Burberry in the year 2017 onward. The last time I had seen this man was 2015. Oh, and by the way, I have the same stolen scarf in like 7 different colors.
You're a Burberry fan. I do know that about you.
That's just...
I don't know him, so
I'm just saying. I'm like, the math thing. Did I steal all 7 of them from your neck? Like, it was just so funny. Like, to me, the whole thing was just like, dude, basic research. But then again, the person who wrote the story is a professional prostitute. Her name's Jacqueline Sweet. She was fucking Vishfura in my office trying to get stories. It was a wild story.
In your office? Wait, what?
Wild story. I mean, Jacqueline Sweet posed as a reporter for The Patch and had a byline in Mother Jones and Politico, writing these types of garbage stories. The thing is, Laura Loomer, in her infinite wisdom, discovered she was on an escort site called nudethepword.com. Yeah, you know what P word I'm talking about too. The same one used for cats. Yes, that one. Selling her escort services. And then she had an OnlyFans called La Dolce Vita. And I don't know, do reporters like do that? Is that a thing in your industry?
I'm not here to judge others, but I've never dabbled.
You don't dabble that way, I get it. But just think about it this way. This story is being written by a person posing as a journalist, writing all these salacious stories.
Theory, it could be both, right?
I mean, sure. I mean, some people are members of Congress and professional stock traders. I guess you can do both. That's right. How silly of me.
So tell us about like you like back to kind of the preconceived. Okay, like you outside of work, what do you do for fun? I mean, like I've seen you kind of in the wild, but I mean,
what do I do for fun?
Yeah.
One thing about me that most people don't know, but I know you know for a fact, I'm an adrenaline junkie and I love roller coasters.
I know this about you. You're like the universal equivalent of a Disney adult.
I am a universal adult.
Were you a Disney adult pre Jimmy Kimmel ABC Fallout?
No, I don't think their parks are fun, and now I can't go there. Not because of anything other than the fact that I'm suing them, and I don't want to create an opportunity for them. So I won't set foot in Disney properties at all. Like I did that myself. I did not sign up for Disney Plus because on Disney Plus, if you sign up for it, it says you cannot litigate against them. So I'm like, the fine print. And I love Disney content. I'm like a big Disney fan. Down with Snow White, it was a piece of shit movie. Rachel Zegler, awful actress. Gal Gadot did a fantastic job as Evil Queen. I didn't watch it, but I saw clips. But then I went and watched Lilo and Stitch because I love Lilo and Stitch. It was such a cute movie too. It's like I watched it twice. I went twice to the movies for it.
Wait, you went to the movie theater and saw it twice?
Yeah, recently for the live action one. I liked it so much I went again. Yeah, it was like I don't have much to do these days, so watching a movie twice again that you really enjoyed isn't like the worst decision you can make.
Okay, on a more serious note. Okay, so have you found out where you're going? How are you?
I'm keeping that obviously private because I don't want a media row of pictures. The one thing I've always been good about is not giving the media a few important clicks. I never gave them the unpacking the office.
You gave us some clicks,
I gave you guys clicks, but there's a few you guys never got. You never got the mugshot. You never got the emptying the office, carrying boxes defeated shot. Never gave you that. Those are very defeated moments that I managed to not get. Like, sure, you've gotten clicks. I mean, you guys have pictures inside my nose at this point. But I never gave you guys certain things. And I know that a lot of people were just like, is there a mugshot? I never revealed if I took a mugshot or not.
Wait, those don't just become public in New York?
No, it does not federal.
Was it a good photo?
Like I said, I never revealed if I even took one. Do you know what the purpose of a mugshot is?
It's probably something I should know, and I'm going to sound really stupid on my own podcast.
The purpose of a mugshot is in case the defendant flees, there's the most recent version to depict him so people can
recognize him. Because Trump used his headshot, and it's out there. It's everywhere.
That mugshot wasn't necessary, but they wanted to parade him in there, and it backfired on Fani Willis. If she had not done the mugshot, which was totally overkill, it would have not gotten he became a living martyr because of that mugshot. It's my opinion. If she had not done that, things could have worked out differently in this campaign.
So with your sentencing, okay, there have been other members of Congress who've gone to prison. Have you talked to any of them? Who's been giving you advice? Have you gotten coaching on how to navigate this?
Honestly,
are you going in blind, read
I'm
books,
going in
or
kind of blind because I don't trust anybody's takes. I don't trust anybody has their best interests out for me. That's just kind of how I am. I have spoken to other people who have gone to prison who are not former members of Congress, and they've kind of given me their experience and their takes. But
how are you going to make friends in there? I know you've
I
talked
don't want to make friends in there.
If you're there for the 7 years, it'll probably be less than that.
Do I strike you like I want to make friends in prison?
But you're in theory, it's people are rehabilitating themselves.
Are they though? Being treated like animals?
For Redemption, they seem to have before they escape to.
I don't know. I just don't know what my mindset's going to be, to be honest with you.
I mean,
I don't want to have preconceived notions about people who are in prison because there's so many stories of people who are innocent in prison. But then again, there's people who are really bad that are in prison. Like, the fact that I'm going to prison for 7 years and 3 months over a first-time offense and a paper crime, white-collar crime, is wild.
I mean, what was your decision? I mean, like, you pleaded guilty. Like, what was
Did
the
I
kind of
have
the
an
mindset
option?
to like? I mean,
I didn't have an option.
if you had like gone through trial, like, what was kind of like?
I would have gotten this would have been worst case scenario at trial. What I got. I should have gone to trial. The reason I didn't go to trial is I didn't have money. I ran out of money. I still owe my attorneys money after I spent every last dime I had.
So do you regret not going? I mean, like outside.
I
of the legal
regret
case,
not going to trial. I took a deal with the freaking devil. Merrick Garland gave me the worst. Democrats and Republicans agree on this, members of Congress, because I've spoken to both. They both agree that I took the worst plea deal they've ever heard of in their lives.
I mean, so you thought it was going to be less than the.
I kept hearing this. Joanna Cyber is the most fair judge in the entire Eastern District. She has a reputation of being fair, lenient, and merciful.
I mean, like, do you have
and then there's a George Santos verdict.
I mean, do you have like an idea in your head of like what your day to day is going to be like in prison? Is
I have
like
no clue.
like books or working out or like what you're? I mean,
have
it's
no
like,
clue.
Because you've said you want to be in protective custody kind of stuff, but like
it's-
7 years alone is a long time.
I'd rather be 7 years alone than risk being raped, gangbanged, shivved, killed, strangled, bullied. I don't know. I was
I
bullied
mean, like,
in
can you
school.
bring anything with you? Like, do you know what level of like access of communication on the outside you
Zero.
can have? Like, is that a temporary thing
No,
until like it's
no,
like?
no. I've been denied every.
Because like I feel like I see people that have been in prison that tweet and are doing news interviews and.
I asked if I can have an accommodation so I can have a tablet, so I can have the ability to continue writing. I have employers who said, we will still welcome your writing, your publications, and keep you gainfully employed so you can support your family because we know you're the main source of income. We like your work. You are an asset to the publication. But every request and accommodation I've asked has essentially been denied, right? I'm not Martha Stewart, so, you know, I can't, I mean.
She made prison chic. I feel
Girl,
like
she took crochet needles into prison and that was allowed. Those are weapons, for crying out loud. I can't take a tablet, like what?
I mean, is it the minimum security prison? Like you.
It's not the type of facility you would expect somebody like me to go. Like, you would expect to see me go to a place a lot more chill, right? They're putting me in somewhere the opposite.
It's like a big thing I feel like your critics have said. You've been on social media, you've criticized some people within Trump admin,
Pam Bondi,
spoken out about how other people have gotten pardons. I mean, I guess some of the big things that people brought up that are anti-you or that they feel like you don't feel remorse for any of it or
I don't feel remorse.
Like that,
yeah,
that's,
like,
I guess, what's your response to the people
I
that are
hate
kind
that
of
people, I hate people telling me that they know how I feel. That's just insane. It's arrogant. It's preposterous. Of course I'm remorseful. Of course I regret. Look at what I did to my own life. Do you think that I'm not remorseful? Like, only those who are with me in my intimate setting on a day-to-day know how much I sit back and I cry sometimes myself to sleep of not just remorse, but of being like, I repent, like everything. Like, if I could do it all over again, it'd be so different. Not because I got caught, because I was blinded by ambition and I did so much stupid, right? In the name of what? Becoming a congressman? It's not even that cool.
I mean, how are you coping with the stress of all of this? Like, I mean, you like talk to a therapist or journal or like?
I've journaled, I've talked to a therapist, I've done all of it. I told my therapist to go fuck herself. She annoyed me. I kept getting like exhausted of being asked, like, but how does that make you feel? Like, lady, at $250 an hour, you gotta do better than that. Like, can you tell me a little bit about your problem so I can relate to you? It's like, she's like, that's not how this works. I'm like, then you can go fuck yourself. And I logged off and I never went back.
I mean, like, you have a husband, you've got a family. What are the talks of prepping for what that's going to look like on staying in contact and being able to, I mean, how are you preparing for that?
How does one prepare? Like, we're taking it day by day. It sucks. There's a lot of stress, a lot of pinned up tension, a lot of emotions that go into it.
I mean, how's your family handling it?
Not well. Not well. I'm not handling it well. Like, as the days approach and I don't hear anything, Juliegrace, I've said, don't pardon me. Commute my sentence. I'll pay. If restitution is what they want, I'll pay the restitution. Let me stay a felon. But 7 years is a political sentence. It's a death sentence, most likely, for a gay man. Look at the statistics. That's the truth.
I mean, like, okay, so you've got a few more days left until this all becomes really real. I
Yeah.
mean, what are you doing to kind of just be able to enjoy?
I mean, I'm enjoying
It's-
nothing. I'm just preparing at this point.
So you're not like, there's not going to be like I mean, you've got your birthday. You're not going to do anything to celebrate
No.
any
I thought of it
little-
initially. Now I'm just like, no. What am I going to celebrate? Becoming 37, a felon, and going to prison? Something to celebrate.
I mean, how optimistic are you of getting commuted at some point during all of this?
I think it's so political, and that some people have true hatred for me that I don't think it's likely at this point.
I mean, when this is all over and you get out, I mean, if there's, this is gonna be my last question for you.
Feel bad for the people who crossed me. It will be very difficult for them moving forward. You want to call it revenge? Call it revenge. You want to call it settling scores? Call it settling scores. Call it whatever the fuck you want to call it. But I will make their existence miserable with truth, because they're all frauds. They're all liars. Nicola Lota is a liar. Lawler's a liar. Molinaro's a fraud who's sucked on the taxpayer tit since he was 18 years old. I can go down the list. They will regret what they did to me. They will regret the pile on, because I'm going to be a one-man show piling on them every single day of my existence. I will make it my life's mission to out every fraud in Congress, Republican and Democrat alike. I will make it virtually impossible for them to not regret being in office.
I mean, when you get out,
I have a funder for it too, by the way, who has guaranteed me $2 million for that project. So I can hire investigators and we can go ham. I'm like, let's go. Let's make money and expose frauds out of government so we can have a more honest government.
So what's going to be the second act, though?
That's the
that's
second
the second
act.
act.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
not TV. It's not writing a book.
It's going to be
not...
me sitting in the chambers of Congress with my privileges that are extended to me for the rest of my life, making their life.
Do you still get all the
miserable.
perks of that? They didn't strip that out with the expulsion?
Yeah. No, Lolota tried to create a new law, a
Actually,
rule.
what's like the best perk on there?
I mean, being able to go to the floor, that's just really a privilege. It's an awesome privilege that not many people get. You know, it's funny. A funny moment of privileges, since we were on the subject. I remember one day being on the House floor, and I looked to the side, I saw Kathy Hochul. I'm like, how was she here? And then I'm like, oh, right, she was a congresswoman for a minute. I'm like, oh, right, that special election upstate New York that, like, she landed in Congress as a pro-gun Democrat. I was just like, oh, right. Like, it was such a moment. Like, I'm like, oh, you forget. So many people have been in Congress for short amount of times, long amount of times, that I completely forgot she had been in Congress.
What should I be asking you that I'm not asking you?
Oh, ask me. I mean, you know what would be a great question nobody's ever asked me? Who's the fakest person in Congress?
Who is the fakest person in Congress?
Lisa McClain.
I feel like you hammered that home earlier.
But I don't think it's in that context. The fakest person in Congress. When she's not.
Who's the most corrupt?
The most corrupt? Wow, you're really making me think, because there's so much corruption that goes on. I have to say it's like a mix between the insider traders, but I want to say Dan Crenshaw. Yeah. How does a man who gets elected in 2018 with a net worth, I think it was like $600,000, now it's multiple $1 million, and it's all mainly due to stock trade. Oh, and please don't tell me it was his book that made him a millionaire, because there's limits to how much income you can get from a book. I think it's like $26,000 a year or something like that. So in royalties. So it's just like, explain to me that if it's not insider trading, that's corruption 101.
What's your message to President Trump as to why he should give you a pardon? That'll be my last question to you.
Here's my answer to that. My message to President Trump isn't about why he should give me a pardon. It's why he should.
Or commute you, I guess.
Or commute me or anything. It's why does it make sense because of the type of sentence handed down, and there's no consistency, because if the same exact application of the law that was applied to me were applied to other members of Congress, example, Schweikert from Arizona, who was only fined and never brought up on criminal charges, or if we go a little bit, kind of back, Mr. freaking Downton Abbey, Aaron Schock, none of them were indicted criminally. They paid fines, restitution, and resigned. Right? So I want equal application of justice. And if that's not happening, then I think it's egregious to let me go to prison for 7 years as a first-time offender of campaign finance violations. That's why I think it's appropriate. That's the precedent's there. Even the most egregious people who have gone to prison for campaign finance, Jesse Jackson Jr., for instance, his sentence, what he did was absolutely insane, number-wise and crime-wise, and he only got 3 years and served half of that.
Thanks for having us, and everyone, thanks for tuning in. And make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel,
and like
and comment. But yeah, I'm so glad you could have us here, and
thank you
really
for coming to my humble little home with my hydrangeas. Thank you, JG. Thank you so much.